Ladies and gentlemen, your eyes are not deceiving you. This is the KBW Forever Podcast. I'm the assassin, AK-47, and I am who I am. And I am different from everybody else. And look who I have here next to me. Introduce yourself.
No, AK is none other than the biggest and the baddest man in all of KBW.
Man, I love hearing that.
BullDozer.
The BullDozers is here, and look who we have. Let's say it.
The best at what I do, Mr. Better Than You, KAGE, a.k.a. Fuego Del Sol.
All the catchphrases are here. KBW alumni is here. I'm the assassin, Fuego Del Sol, a.k.a. KAGE from KBW. We have the BullDozer from KBW. And look, guys, we have a podcast for you. Now, we can get in all kind of topics. We go into anything we want to talk about KBW-wise. So, the floor is ours, guys. What do we want to talk about? We don't see each other a lot. We're on holidays. It's Thanksgiving.
Let's break that down for them real quick. So as you guys know, in 2009, I started this little company called KBW. And two of my very best friends in the world, sitting right here next to me, were major parts of KBW. I went off to college in 2014. KBW took a hiatus. We came back by a little over the years, but at this current time, I no longer live in Alabama, where KBW was filmed at. BullDozer does live in Alabama, and now AK lives in Albany, New York. So we're all in 3 different states. I'm in Oklahoma, AK, New York, BullDozer, still here in Mobile, Alabama. But we're home for the holidays, and we thought, what better way to celebrate than to do a KBW Forever podcast. It's been 10 years since we were in the thick of KBW TV every week.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd do a little 10-year reunion and start this brand new KBW Forever podcast. And I am fucking pumped.
Me too. I'm so psyched. It's so good to see you boys. I mean, I know, it's probably been a long time for them, viewers, but it's been a long time for us. I mean, we don't get to see each other nearly as much as we used to. We went from hanging out pretty much every day, every weekend to just talking on the phone nowadays. And I just want to say I'm glad to see you boys.
I'm so glad to see you too, bro. It's been a while since I moved to New York recently, and I was in Alabama for a long time. Me and him hung out after high school, after we graduated. We also went to the same college together, so me and BullDozer are very, very close. So we grew up together. We went to elementary school together, same for Fuego Del Sol here. So we all grew up when we were kids, all the way up to now. Here we are. So it's just such a great feeling to be around you guys again. So
not only is this a podcast to celebrate KBW, but it's really a way for us, 3 best friends, to get together every week. Every week would not be in person, but we want to do more of these, and we'll do them online.
Right.
But this is the first one, and we thought if we're going to do it, we got to do it right when we're all together. Let's do this. Us 3, KBW Legends, get back together and tell you about some of our favorite memories, our favorite matches, some secret behind the scenes, secrets that have never been revealed before. We're going to give you all the inside scoop on what made KBW so great, how we feel about KBW, and why we loved that time in our lives so very much. And I feel like that's where we should probably get started, right? Mm-hmm. AK's real name is AK, right? And you know me, Fuego Del Sol, formerly on AEW, doing all that stuff. We're going to call BullDozer Dut, though. Dut is also his name, so BullDozer, a.k.a. Dut, AK, and Fuego, or KAGE, whatever you want to call me.
We got a lot of names going on, but call us what you like if you feel. So yeah.
I'm excited.
We're excited. We're about to get right into it. What do we want to talk about?
We should get started
so
somewhere.
Many topics we can dive into. Like memories, we have matches, we have...
I want to start from where...
The very, very beginning.
Yeah,
start.
Okay. I'm probably, 15, 14 years old when I messaged you guys about doing KBW. Mm-hmm. Was I driving already by the time that you started coming over? I might have just turned 16.
You had to, because you would come and pick me up, because obviously I had no way. You're older than me, and you were like, bro.
We should say that. I'm 1 year older than both.
Yeah, so he had a car at the time. He was like going around, making the rounds, picking everybody up. Not just me, not just BullDozer, but everybody around in the neighborhood. In the neighborhood.
Would cram into my 1999 Volkswagen Passat and I drive them to my backyard.
Yeah, that was half of the hassle, right? It was going to get everybody.
Yeah, because you had
That's
to get,
the hard part.
You had to get certain people, drop them off, then go out again, make another round, and get more people and bring them back and drop them off, then make another round to get more people to bring it back. It was such a hassle, but we did. You did it.
That's the thing that I hear people say all the time. It's like, man, we always wanted to do backyard wrestling, but we didn't have people. Well, that's one of the problems, is that I was 16 years old still backyard wrestling, right? So I would just drive and pick everybody else. As soon as I got a car, I was like, okay, now I can go get people. We can have a legitimate roster. It's not just me and my brothers. And if I can get AK to walk half a mile up the block to wrestle with me.
Yep.
Because a lot of, like, when KBW started blowing up, it was just me versus AK and, like, a bunch of different stipulation matches over and over and over again. And finding fans of wrestling, of kids, like, because a lot of times it was just kids who was staying over on the weekends for sleepovers, who was coming over to play games and football in the yard and stuff.
Cops and robbers was a big thing we played on.
Yeah, we played cops and robbers. Like, we were just, a lot of the neighborhood kids would come to my house. It was the meetup spot. But I would convince people to wrestle on the trampoline with me because I am a giant fan of pro wrestling. These two also happen to be really big fans of pro wrestling, and so they became more committed to KBW because it wasn't just a fun hobby or activity to do while they were spending the night with me. It was an actual thing they enjoyed doing. So that's who got the big pushes on KBW. That was the people that we focused on, people that actually wanted to be there. Right? There were some people that got over with the online audience that people wanted, but they didn't want to be involved. Like, we had to restructure the whole Renegade storyline, which I think there'll be a whole episode on the Renegade.
Yes, we gotta do that.
But just to get it started, okay, I'm 16 years old. I'm really 15 when me and AK started doing it. But just to get Dut's perspective, BullDozer, tell us, do you remember when I first asked you to be a part of us? What was your feelings? You remember your first matchup?
Let's go through it.
I do. You know, I remember, and I'm not sure, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think you had your first viral video yet. What was the first viral video? Royal Rumble?
I want to know so the first ever video I posted went semi-viral. It was the Undertaker and Jeff Hardy versus Ed.
We use actual names for the thumbnail.
But that was smart. I mean, I was freaking 12 and I was like 13 and I was like, okay, how do we get people to click on our video? Well, let's just title it Actual Wrestlers. So
we just imitate the wrestlers we
You've
love.
always been a marketing genius, what can you say?
I wasn't a marketing genius. I think I've lucked up into a lot of my success. But yeah, so that one went semi-viral. That got the people to subscribe to the channel.
For sure.
But I don't think this is wild to say. I mean, looking back now, I don't think any of it was phenomenal. But I think season 1 was trash. It was absolute ass.
It was a little rough around the edges, I'll say.
I mean, we were not good at wrestling yet.
No.
Not really good. I mean, I don't think we were. If you go back and watch, we're still not good at wrestling. But at the time, we got, from where we started to where we ended up, we were 10 times better, is what I'll say.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm trying to think what's the best way to put this. So, like, season 1, we were still so young that we didn't even realize. Like, we don't have any edits at all. We're not editing the video. We're not using commentators, really, unless whoever we can find to hold the camera and commentate.
Changing commentators mid-match.
Oh, my God. I even just starting to talk about it now, I feel like I got to go through the podcast and edit in just random clips for people to see what all went on and transpired. Yeah, season 1's ass. But both of y'all, they kind of debuted in season 2. AK had one match in season 1.
Yeah.
And then he was also in the final match of season 1. He was a part of all the chaos that went around D-Man getting
Me and D-Man has
the title.
Few
Again, I'm sure a lot of people didn't even watch KBW in order. They watched the viral videos and they just clicked on the ones that... But it was so important to me that people watched in order. The storylines I built out in my head and shit were just...
It was awesome.
The greatest thing in the world to me.
Yeah.
It was. Indeed. And, you know, that's one of the reasons I wanted to join so bad. Like you said, I mean, we were all, 3 of us, huge wrestling fans. And even me and AK, I'm sure he remembers, we used to be in 4th, 5th grade just talking about wrestling nonstop all the free time we got. But,
funny story. I don't know if you want to talk about it, but there was a time Dustin was so obsessed with wrestling.
Oh, God.
One of our 4th grade teacher wasn't having it, and like,
she's a bitch, by the way. I hated her too. I had her a year before them.
Yeah, she was hard. We ain't gonna name any names, but she was just a bad teacher, and she was like very mean spirited, and she basically blamed wrestling for Dustin's
shortcomings in class?
I didn't have any shortcomings. I made straight A's. It's the bad part.
Yeah, no.
She literally sent a note home to my mom and was like, he's a great student. You know, he's here every day. He makes straight A's, but I just think he's a little too obsessed with wrestling. Let me tell you what I did, okay? Let me tell you. All right, the first thing I did was, it was like St. Patrick's Day, and they gave us like a cutout of a leprechaun. And she was literally like, make anything you want out of this leprechaun. Anything you want. So, at the time, I think MVP had a storyline going on. And so I made it look like the leprechaun had the MVP, you know.
Singlet on, yeah.
Yeah, singlet on, and then just drew him like that. And that was the first. She was like, why would you do this? I was like, you said we could make it anything we want. All right. So she kind of like got on to me for that. But what really threw it off for her, she took us to the library. And she was like, y'all do a book report on a biography or autobiography. Any book. And I was like, okay. So I'm going through the library. And what do you know? I see an autobiography by The Rock. And I'm like, oh, this is what I got to do. I wrote like a 2-page, I'm in 4th grade now. I wrote like a 2-page paper on this autobiography. Great. She fails me for it because I'm too obsessed with wrestling. She sends a note home to my mom. She bans me from watching wrestling.
Your mom bans you from watching wrestling because of this.
Rest of summer. Yeah.
The whole summer, yeah.
What a bitch.
Yeah.
Terrible.
She was. I don't understand. I just feel like she had it out for you. Like I feel like she was some
and
jealousy.
me too.
There.
I feel like y'all had her together. The year before, I had never got in trouble as much. If I was a straight A student, rarely ever my parents got called. Mm-hmm. But this woman had it out for me, and I could see how she also could fuck up shit for you because you're just like me in a lot of ways. I feel like we're just smart, but we like wrestling. What's the fucking problem with liking wrestling?
Yeah.
All right, continue.
Well, you know, like I said, you know, me and AK were always close and going through school and love wrestling. And me and KAGE were close too. We went to the same church together, you know, growing up and stuff. And he just approached me one day and was like, hey, you know, I got this YouTube channel. I know you love wrestling and I'd love for you to be a part of it. And, you know, I was already, I had to play kind of hard to get. I was like, I don't know, you know, maybe I'll think about it. But inside, I was like, hell yeah, let's fucking do it. And, you know, of course he hyped me up. He was like, we're going to put the belt on you. You know, you're going to be this tower, man. You're going to be the first world champion. And I was like all in immediately. And I just, you know, I loved it. But it wasn't just that. It was, I was watching the videos already at that point, and I seen it.
Really?
Yeah, I was.
You were watching?
I was low-key jealous. I was like, man, AK gets to go over here and film these videos. I wish I could be a part of it. But
Just real quick, some story. The first match you ever had, right? You come over, we're practicing it, and I'm like, what do you want your finishing move to be? And you said, my favorite wrestler, Sweet Chin Music, Shawn Michaels. I said, you big dude, can you get your leg up here to super kick me?
It's probably the best we did.
And you went for it, you fell down. And you're like, you looked at me and like, no sweat off of you. You laughed a little bit, you went, oh, maybe not super kick. Maybe not super kick.
I had these dreams, okay? You know, I had to try it out. Really, so I had to try it out. Thank God, you know, we didn't settle for that.
The BullDozer, much better. The Power Slam ended up being it. And then you had more finishes over your career. Yeah, right? Yeah. What other ones did you start doing?
The Splash, I remember.
The Splash was always one of his top ones. I don't know if he ever won matches with it.
Mm-hmm. I love the Frasiernator, obviously.
Frasiernator.
Of course, which we stole from Nick Frazier after he left the company.
Yeah.
When we said left the company, he was not a wrestling fan to begin with. He showed up one weekend. We formed Execution and filmed 3 videos for it.
It's about half the roster. It's just...
Yeah, about half the roster wasn't into wrestling, but they was into like being around everyone. So.
And then especially when we started getting success, then like more people wanted to be a part of it.
That's when they started coming.
Yeah.
Started getting success.
That's when they started, trying to leech and come over. But
there was another one though. There's another finish. Power bomb. We did start doing like the pop-up power bomb. Was it pop-up?
Yeah, pop-up power bomb.
But you started sitting out
spear.
With it. Yeah. Spear.
Oh yeah, I did the spear.
You did.
And I was the ultimate finish move. The trampoline turning it over.
Oh yes.
That was.
Iconic.
How did I forget about that, bro?
The iconic.
I don't know why.
Trampoline flip.
Which it sucks because I think your debut match got deleted off the channel.
No, I didn't know that.
I think I might have footage of it still.
Oh no! It's gonna do it again! On to 5 other superstars! No way! No way! Don't do this, BullDozer! Don't do it! Oh my God! No! BullDozer! Disclose the trampoline on to everybody!
And of course I'll edit it in.
It was in the intro though, right?
It's an intro, I think.
No. I wanted because eventually he got him a BullDozer shirt.
Oh yeah,
called with the BullDozer logo on it. And I wanted that.
I was so proud of that shirt.
It was incredible. I was so proud. I was like, oh my God, this dude cares so much. He got a shirt made.
Yeah.
I thank God because forever it was just me and AK the only two that really gave a damn about KBW. So when you came in, it was like fresh new storylines.
Got a new person.
Yes.
That was so dedicated to it, and you could just tell like it was so fresh, the BullDozer shirt, and over the years it just kept fading and fading.
Just going back and get another shirt. I just kept rocking.
Do you still have it?
I do. I'll have to bring it one episode.
Yeah, one episode we had.
So faded.
Yeah, you probably can't even see it now. But
that's hilarious, dude.
That was great though, man. You could just tell when you got the shirt made that oh yeah, this guy he gets it, So
he's about it.
He's about it, and I knew as soon as we got a third person that's super into it, then this is all we need basically.
First match versus Resident Jobber.
Yeah.
The Bama Kid. I don't even want to say his Spanish name. We're just gonna call him the Bama Kid. You know who we're talking about.
Blow me whore, blow me whore.
But it's wrong. It's not.
Asesino. I love it.
But it's not. It's supposed to be la mejor. It's not even
we got
proper
called out
Spanish.
in the comments a lot for that.
Also, I really come up with it because I wanted it to be the best murderer, which is bad. So then that translates to mejor asesino. However, we already have the assassin, AK-47.
That's true.
So we just have assassin versus asesino, which we weren't pronouncing right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, kind of right, but not really. The Bama Kid is what we're calling him.
The Bama Kid.
I'm retconning it. His name was only the Bama Kid. It's never lo mejor asesino.
But that was fun because the funniest thing it was because we had different commentators and they all didn't understand how to really say it. So each commentator was just so funny when they said every time Bama Kid came out because sometimes it came out very badly.
Well, then you think like the accents that we had.
Yes.
Different people have different
very
accents.
southern accents.
Southern, and then people don't know how to volume control. So at one time for sure it sounded like blow me whore. Assassino.
Blow me whore. Assassino.
And people in the comments are like, did he say blow me whore?
We already got these southern accents that we don't know. So we just
brother, one of our most successful videos of all time, Royal Rumble 2, starts with the I will win, I win, and then half the comments was just like the AH spelling we'll win. I was so proud of that.
Yeah.
Opening intro. I was so proud of it. And come to find out years later, half the comments on that bitch just making fun of our accents.
Yeah.
We'll win. I will win. We'll win. We'll win. The Royal Rumble.
We'll win.
We'll win the Royal Rumble again. We'll win the Royal Rumble. Because I'm the biggest. Because I am who I am. And baddest man. And I'm different from everybody else in KBW.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happened.
During the match Royal Rumble 2, Maxzilla's in the match the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And half the time his selling of moves is just So for years I thought people were making fun of Maxzilla when they were making fun of all of us.
Yes.
What a joke on me.
Exactly. Yeah. At the time though, that's actually because considering how crazy internet is,
chaotic.
Today, it could have been way worse.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it was fun though. It was a great time.
Absolutely. Yeah, and then so BullDozer flips the trampoline over on top. He only did it maybe 3 times ever.
I think, and the funny thing about
we wanted to make it a big deal when it happened.
I don't remember if you remember or not, but when I first done it, I was like, man, I love this. I want to do it every time. And you were the one that was like, no, we can't do this every time. This has to be like a
special occasion.
Special occasion, and I was just like, every match I was like, can I do it?
Because we went through a few trampolines, I would say.
Oh God. Yes, we went through multiple trampolines. Then we borrowed trampolines. Then we moved locations and had a different
the
trampoline.
Locations.
Yeah.
3 different locations that I can think of in my head for sure. Then if you count the stuff we did in Atlanta, 4 different locations.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That's another episode in itself.
Yeah, we gotta talk about that
We'll
later.
have Myron on to talk about that. Man, just even talking a little bit about this brought up
I
so
know.
many memories.
I'm just in my head thinking about all the stuff that's coming back to me.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this is such a great time. I always look on it fondly. Like, man, I'm so grateful that we had to share that experience.
I really hope that I still have the footage of the first time he turned the trampoline over on Bambi Kid, because
Yeah.
that's classic. If not,
Iconic.
I'll do Money in the Bank 2, where he flipped it on everybody afterwards, and then my favorite is the Paul Wall spear.
I love, all of them are equally as special to me, honestly. It's like the first time, obviously iconic. The second time, flipping it on everyone. Like,
Everybody.
It was like, oh my God.
And it was like
then-
one of our most. That was like the video that put us on the map.
Yeah.
That video went mega viral.
Yeah, it did.
First one to hit 1 million views.
And then the last one with Paul Wall, I loved it because, and I hate we never got to finish that storyline, but it was like just left on such a cliffhanger. Like, oh my God, it's
And,
just
like,
craziness.
It literally was our like immovable object meets unstoppable force. So
Yeah.
it's like it was like Paul coming back into the fray, because Paul his grandma used to live across the road from me, and so when he was at his grandma's, he could come over and film, but his mom was very strict, so she wouldn't let him come stay the night with me or anything, or like coming over a lot. I couldn't just go pick him up like I go pick up everybody else. So like for years, Paul just disappeared. He put on some of the best early matches we had.
Mm-hmm.
Me and him had a great ladder match. I think we had a triple threat, me, you, and him.
Yep.
We had some really fun stuff, and then he just disappears from the videos.
And
And
like a
everybody's
backstage brawl. That was fun.
yes, we did do backstage brawl. Oh my God! You got thrown into the trailer to make the
That sound and I remember Paul was like, oh yeah.
I know what you're about to say.
He said, I hit Paul. I said, you know what? I don't want you. He's like, why do you keep hitting me?
Hey, I don't want you. Why do you keep hitting me?
You're like, I don't want to hit you. I want to hit KAGE. And you're like, but then Paul's like, why you keep hitting me then?
He's like, then why do you keep hitting me?
I hope I got the clip. I'll insert it in here. That
so
shit's
funny.
hilarious, bro. Oh my
I think
God.
that's one of the first times like we actually said like a cuss word on there because we were kids. Because I remember it wasn't part of it. It came out when the first video came out. I was just like, I'm gonna find him and I'm gonna whoop his ass.
And I'm gonna find him and I'm supposed to whoop his ass.
It wasn't whoop. It was beat.
Oh,
I'm gonna beat his ass.
Beat his ass. And I just like, and that wasn't planned or anything. And I'm just like young 14, I was like, oh my God, my parents just go see this. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Bro, it's so funny the different branches this conversation is taking, because it like leads into
We're
one
just going
thing.
everywhere.
There's just so much we can talk about.
I love it, and I hope they enjoy it. I hope people enjoy it. Now, hopefully,
Yeah.
if you were a fan of KBW and have listened this far in, you see what we're trying to do here. We have a great rapport with each other, and we love the KBW members, and we haven't really had a chance to sit down and talk like this in 10 years since we kind of fully stopped on a weekly basis, because it was every weekend we were doing it, especially the year 2013. That was our biggest year of just, we went
Non-stop.
viral. Like the viral video happened in 2012. We put out a few more videos. No, I think it might have been 2013 was the year that it went mega viral. I can't remember when Money in the Bank 2 and mine and your final match happened. It was 20. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was 2013. So 2013 is when it really took off for us, and then 2014 is like when things started to slow down.
Right. I would say. But then though, like, I remember just how dedicated we were, because some days it was so cold and some days it was so hot, because it gets very hot here in Alabama. And I remember being like one of the hottest days on the weekends, and we did that, and after the matches we were like gasping for air. Then I remember it got like so cold. I think one time it snowed when we was out there.
Oh, that was his match. It was his match with Paul Wall. It
Paul Wall,
snowed.
yeah.
Well, look.
But it wasn't really snow. It's kind of
it's like ice.
like a sleet. But a funny thing about that, I don't know if you guys remember. So, what pay-per-view was that?
the one that you wrestled Paul
Yeah.
at. That was Bloodthirst.
Bloodthirst.
Because you and AK also wrestled.
With the leather strap match. Classic.
Okay,
Yes.
so the setup for that was it was all the same event, right? But
We filmed that weeks apart.
Okay, we filmed it weeks apart, and so it was like scorching hot when you two did your match. All right, and so,
Flips over.
when me and Paul Wall did our match, it was freezing and like raining, hailing, and then I just remember the commentary just being like, "Folks, it's just a dramatic weather change." Like, are people gonna believe this?
Dramatic weather.
We were so dumb, dude.
We just come up with stuff just to make it
To
fit.
fix our little things, yeah. I mean, literally, the D-Man's rock smooth rock move, which is like the wheelbarrow into the bulldog that Rey Mysterio did, right?
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio, you always hit the wheelbarrow into the bulldog, right? I had an older brother who was training to be a wrestler, and we called him Rock. And so when that move was hit the first time, I always, when we were practicing, I was just like, oh yeah, you do Rock's move. You do Rock's move, right? Then on commentary, whoever the dumbass was, when the move is doing, instead of calling it a bulldog, it was like, he is Rock's move, right? In
just
commentary. And so then I switched it to be Rock Smooth Rock. And that's what we called it for 4 fucking years. The wheelbarrow bulldog became Rock Smooth Rock. For what? That was just a dumb thing. Why did I not just adjust it and call it the wheelbarrow bulldog? Because we were teenage idiots.
Yes, it's just so little funny things like that. It just came to play, and it was just like we just went with it. Like it was so many times where I remember like something bad would happen, like the camera stopped, and we had to get a new camera, a new battery, and we then like we had to just do we redo the whole match now, or do we just?
Well, dude, when I finally got the editor, I would edit in replays of moves. Specifically, I was like, oh, the camera went out. We'll put a replay right there, and then restart from right there.
And then start again.
I don't know if I should say this right now, but it's hilarious that you say that. We use the replays for stuff like that, but we also use like the renegade cuts, like the renegades are coming.
Yes.
We use that when we would mess up and the camera would cut or something, and it would just seem so smooth because it was like, oh, the renegades.
What's this about?
Yeah.
And no one notices.
I was using a software way too advanced that I did not know how to work. So this editor, I'm using Sony Vegas Pro, which I illegally downloaded,
Oh god.
torrented the fucking editor, and then I'm trying to put things on the screen, but I don't know that you needed graphics to do that. It's like, so you get the little fucking bouncy font for different ones, and BullDozers would shake because he's mine would fade in, and then what was your AKs would do something funny.
Yeah, it's like
AKs would scroll in.
Yeah.
Each letter at a time. So you get all these dumb entrances, but it worked. It somehow came together. Because I think mostly because the wrestling was good. Good for kids, I should say. It wasn't good.
Yeah.
But for kids, I thought people loved it.
Oh, I think it was really good for kids. And I'm not trying to toot our own horn, but for backyard wrestling and for kids at our age, I think we did obviously looking back, it's kind of cringe now sometimes, some things you
Very cringe.
But
Yeah, it's like, oh my god.
I think that's more because take yourself and AK both, y'all are both grown much more as professional wrestlers and with your training and all that, but just at the time, no training, just out there, just heart and soul. It was just
a mixture of just good enough and funny and entertaining enough that I feel like it kept people's interest.
I feel like what really made us is how serious and unserious we were about certain things. It was very campy. I feel like people love the campy and the silliness. It's like, this is so bad, but it's also so good.
But if you go back in time and tell 17-year-old me that this is funny and campy, I took this shit so seriously, bro.
Yeah.
This was my life, bro. I would get mad at you guys. Y'all be playing basketball or some shit when we need to be working on matches.
Yeah.
Or we would go over
jokes.
promos or shit, and y'all would BullDozer is the best at it because he's just a funny guy in general, but he's playing this serious ass character, and I would want him to be serious, and then he would crack a joke, and then that leads to one of the greatest moments of all time. But I won't get into that right now.
What? That.
You know what I'm talking about. The Paul Wall, yeah. We'll do that another day, because I want to use the footage. I want to actually use the footage.
That was all. That's the biggest laughs I've had in my life.
Okay, AK, let's get to you. Let's talk about your introduction, how you came about. So, fun fact, me and AK were cousins, right? My mother, his father, siblings. And so, he only lived about a half a mile down the road from me. And so he would walk up the street. Yeah. Back when I didn't have a car to go pick him up, he would walk to my house, I would walk to his house. And so that's why that season 2 is just me versus AK over and over again. But continue your story.
Pretty much, like you said, lived like half a mile away from him, and we are super, super close. Especially when KBW started, when he started doing, trampoline wrestling. Me and him got very, very close.
I think that was the start of our friendship. Like, we were always related, but like we became like brothers when I mean, this is definitely a different topic for a different time, but like my parents were going through a divorce at the time. And so I just want to go spend time with him to get my mind off of that bullshit going on at home. And then like when he wanted to do KBW, we would just ride together to school. Yeah. We would do KBW. We would
talk about it, say what storylines going over, what can we do, like all kinds of like. I had so many ideas.
KBW would be dead if he didn't show up, and like me and him didn't become friends. Then I would have never kept doing KBW.
Right. Yeah.
Like especially all the stuff going on in my home at the time. Like he was like, oh, afterwards we could just wrestle each other, and then that's why the Bama Kid was eventually introduced, because we needed someone else to wrestle.
Yeah.
So
another character.
Yeah.
So go ahead, continue with your introduction to.
Yeah, like I was saying, very, very close, and like as soon as you wanted to do KBW, it's like, oh my god, I didn't think we actually knew how much we loved wrestling. Like I didn't know, because like we said, we weren't very close when we like growing up, because like I said, you were a year older than us, so we weren't in the same grades or anything, and but eventually. I saw you say, hey, we're doing this trampoline wrestling. You're doing it with D-Man, your brother, and CJ, and also your brother. And I was like, I gotta get in on this. I was like, this is what I want to do. I love wrestling. Y'all like wrestling too. Then you was dealing with that. I was like, oh yeah, bro. Like come over to my house. Like we was both into video games. Like we had a lot of music, a lot of sleepovers. So many nights we were listening to, like Drake and Lil Wayne just driving down the car.
Young Money, Cash Money. Golden era.
That whole era, Nicki Minaj, Young Money, we was all just blasting it, because Lil Wayne's not too far from where we were from, in New Orleans.
But your first match wasn't even. We weren't close yet in your first match.
No.
We were just. You were coming over to play football or something with the neighborhood kids.
That's something else we did. We played backyard football just in the neighborhood, like
baseball.
That's just how we connected socially, like
tag.
Because a lot of parents are like, y'all got to go outside. You got to go outside and play. So
it was a different time.
Yeah, so like go outside. Find somebody to play with, like you can't be in the house all day type of thing. A lot of parents are like that around here. So okay, so everybody in the neighborhood, we all
especially when we got cell phones and we could like link up. Everybody in middle school, be like, hey, we're playing football at KAGE's house this Saturday. Everybody come play football.
Yeah.
Right. But then I would convince them to
wrestle,
do a KBW video with me. I got a camera for Christmas, probably when I was 12 or 13. I got a camera for Christmas, and I started setting it up, and not even setting it up, we'd have just people hold it. That's why a lot of the early videos are shaky.
Right.
Because we didn't know. I would like bring stools outside and set the camera on just to film me wrestling.
And another thing that I would say made us close too is because my house is like kind of like way back where his house is. So my internet was I didn't have any internet at all, but he had some internet. So sometimes I go to his house just to get on like MySpace. So I need to update my MySpace. I need because I remember creating my own MySpace account
at my house.
At your house.
That's a vivid memory.
I didn't have a computer. I didn't have internet at all really, because at the time,
in the middle of nowhere.
Just live in the middle of nowhere. So I was like, bro, I gotta go over here, and then we just got closer just from that. Then I was a big gamer guy, and I had a lot of video games, and I traded games with him. So it was just
we were slowly becoming
building
close.
friendships right there. So
yes, and then like he did one video, maybe 2 videos with us, but then once, like we took a little bit of a break between season 1 and season 2, right? But winter happened and sports happened and all that, and then like I said, all the crap that was going on at my house, in my home life at the time was going on. Then when I got settled in, I it was just me and my dad, and then eventually stayed at the house. And I started walking to your house, and then I eventually got in my car, and like we got super close. I was picking him up for school, we got
Every
close,
morning.
and then that was just like, hey, me and you, let's just do KBW matches ourselves. Let's have a rivalry of all rivalries, and it's just me versus you, and that's what we did. And like that was the matches I felt like eventually put you on the map.
Oh, of course. Those matches, the Falls Cut Anywhere match, one of my
Yeah,
favorites.
because we did a one that went to a count out.
I think it was the non-title match, right? The first
Yes,
one?
the first one. Then the second one,
What's the Falls Count Anywhere?
submission match.
Or submission.
Submission match. Then Falls Count Anywhere
Then
match.
Extreme Rules match.
No.
No?
Then final match.
Final match.
Where it was supposed to be the end of
That was
the
supposed to be
match.
the end of the match.
Then I won Money in the Bank, cashed in on you. Then we did an
The
Extreme Rules match.
Yeah.
Then we did a last man standing match to lead into him taking the title. A lot of fucking matches,
Yes.
right? But then eventually we decided we weren't going to wrestle each other in singles for a whole year.
Yes, that was the whole big thing.
Yes.
Because we knew we had like, bro, like our rivalry is kind of like we've done
every
every stipulation.
But first we had to do the first ever pay-per-view. First
Yes.
ever pay-per-view, Bloodthirsty. Me and you, both titles on the line.
Boom.
Then after that, we can't touch each other for a year straight.
Yeah,
No singles matches.
you had your own storylines you had to do. I was like, I'm gonna do my own story.
Well, we still weren't like multi-mans together.
Exactly.
But we were never in the singles.
Well, it was just so good, though. I don't think you both realized, like, I think in your mind you thought maybe you were overdoing it. But the Cage and the AK matches were just classics. I mean, every one of them. You both, and I think it goes back to just both of you two being so passionate about it. You could tell you put your passion into it. And I tell you, and it brings me back, which match was it where you put him in your car?
Oh yeah.
That was
House
that
Party.
wasn't even a match. That was just a video of like, I'm
was
gonna go
just-
to his house and I'm gonna beat him up. And I just like, we just did a breaking and entering home invasion on.
Because
And then I literally-
this was like soon after, like I think WWE did it. Who broke in Triple H?
Triple H broke into Randy Orton's house.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I think it was around that time, and we.
That was a few years after, but still, like,
Yeah.
that happened in 2009. We did ours in 2000.
But that was kind of in our minds, though. I'm saying, like,
Yeah, we
the
wanted to do
idea.
something like the home invasion.
Yeah.
But still to this day, that's still one of my favorite matches too.
We literally had this man in the trunk of my car for half a mile.
Yeah, bro. Like I'm trying to think, how do we come up with that? Like
I said, hey, what if I put you in the trunk?
I was just like, bro, that'd be insane. Let's
I was
do
like,
it.
are you okay in there? So like we tested out. I shut the trunk.
Yeah.
I was like, you good?
I
He's
was
like,
like, yeah,
I'm
I think I'm
good.
good. It's like, cause my biggest worry is like, can I breathe in here? It's like, am I gonna have enough like oxygen to survive this drive back to his house? That's like the only thing I was worried about. Because I was like, I don't know if I can breathe in this thing. But it worked out. Like you put me in the trunk, you took me down there. I popped out of the trunk into your house.
We beat each other up.
And I love the continuation because it was no cuts. You legit put me in the trunk.
Yeah,
then, like,
we filmed it the whole way.
The cameraman got in the
I
passenger
feel like
seat.
we're overdoing it. I feel like we could do a whole podcast on mine and your rivalry. Maybe
Yeah.
we should save it.
Oh, no
Yeah.
doubt.
Like, I wanted just to be like, what was your first inkling of like, when your first match, did you enjoy it? Did you like it?
Oh, yeah,
Did you want to
of
come
course.
back?
I remember my
you
first
remember when I asked you, the tie-dye shirt?
the tie-dye shirt. I was like I mean, I'm still, kind of like slim, but I was like really, really
So
skinny.
skinny.
Very, very skinny then. And I had the tie-dye shirt, I had some shorts. I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, I was very awkward. I was very like stiff. I didn't even know what in the world I was even thinking I was going to do as a character. I was just having fun with it and just wanted to just wing it. And you said actually it wasn't too bad. I kind of felt like, man, I didn't do great. I don't know if this is for me type of thing when I first did my first match. I felt like I did so terrible.
Well, that's the problem, I think, because I was the one who was putting the matches together. I was telling everybody what moves to do, what order we're going to do them in. We would practice all the matches, and then we would film them,
Right.
right? So if I wasn't in the match, then I thought the match wasn't going to be good. So if you look at season 1, I'm in every single match because I had to tell people, hey, this is what you do next. I was calling the match.
And I feel like it took you a minute to get to the point where you trusted enough people. Like obviously you trusted AK pretty fast. I think you trusted me relatively fast.
Did you do a lot of matches, though, by yourself?
Me?
Yes.
Not too many.
No, I didn't trust you. I did not trust you.
Well, I mean, you did. I feel like you definitely got to the point where you trusted me more than other guys.
Absolutely.
But for you to do like, I'm trying to think what was like.
Well, that's why we had to create separate
Meet
characters.
the Brick versus like Pac-Man. It took a lot for you to be able to trust those guys to go in there and put on a match. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
I didn't want it to be bad, dude. And, like, it wasn't ever great, but, like, I had a standard. I felt like in my head that it had to hit. And if it wasn't, if they were doing things I didn't like, it would piss me off so much. I can't, like, it blows my mind because I can vividly remember how serious I took it, and now I wouldn't give a fuck. Like, I'm so nonchalant now, but I held it to such a standard. But eventually, AK got good enough where he could do it by himself and call matches where I didn't need to be in there, and that was great. Okay, well, I can be out of the videos, AK can be in matches, and I can commentate, and we'll be all right.
Right.
And so, the first match, though, you and D-Man,
it was very
short, very bad,
not great.
Not to what you eventually did with me. I feel like when we
started,
and we're like, well, we both made each other better. Like, we would practice stuff more. We would try to come up with cool spots and moves.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a maniac, so I didn't mind getting hit with shit and going
crazy bumps. One of the craziest bumps you ever did was you flipped off the house.
Oh my god! I still send that to Sammy Guevara all the time just to make him laugh. So like, you can hear me go back to the well.
Back to the well. Oh, and he misses again. And KAGE goes through the table. KAGE puts himself through the table. And AK just astonished.
And I flip and like kill myself trying to flip through a table.
Yeah, I remember
the jump off the roof into the spear for the final match was fire.
And that was one of the iconic things with you, was like you came off the roof.
Yes.
Like your interest.
So he had the fucking flip the trampoline. I had coming off the roof.
And I had every interest I did was different.
In the second season,
yes,
you just would come out of
random places.
I remember that. Oh my god, I forgot about that.
I was like, I had this idea. It's like every time I come out, I want to come out in a different spot. Like I never wanted to come out in the
like
same
the
spot.
normal entrance, which was just from around the side of that trailer.
I was like, that's how I kind of different started. I just want to be different from everybody else. This is how it was. I was like, I'm going every single time I come out, you just didn't know where I was coming from. So I just thought that would be funny and hilarious. I remember I started way down the road one time.
Way down the road, way up in the woods, all the way
all the way back in the woods. I ran out and did that one. I remember I was
under the house one time.
I came from under the house. I came from under the ring. Sometimes everywhere, every like angle I could have different. I was.
But that was even before you were calling yourself different.
I know that was before, and also. I came from like a playhouse. You had that little playhouse. I came from there,
which is such a weird but iconic fixture of like my little sister's old playhouse that she never played in. We just scooted it up against the trampoline.
Yeah, we used
to use
as like
as a prop.
As a prop, yeah. And it worked.
I took a suplex on that bad boy. I took
so
crazy
many things,
stuff. Yeah.
But
it was iconic.
Yeah, and like that was one of them. This like
God, we were so.
Times.
I don't consider myself a redneck or like a country bumpkin or like southern, white
like,
trash.
We
but
are Native American.
Looking back at it, it's like white trash. But we're native, so we're not even white. But
we're Native Americans.
It's so white trash,
in the southern
right?
Dude, I'll tell you one of the things. You know, people say a lot of things on the internet, and I never let it try to get to me. But let me tell you one of the things that got to me. When we moved location from your house to my house, and they started making the comments about the Christmas lights being on in the middle of the goddamn summer, I was so like embarrassed. I was like, Jesus, are we really that white trash?
I mean, it happens, bro. You just
the Christmas lights still on his house.
In the summertime.
To this day, they're still on the house.
They're still on the house. They're still on the house. They're still on there. It's 10 years later.
What you say?
They're still on the
They're
house.
still on the house. Go look.
I can't breathe. Oh, my cheeks hurt. My cheeks are hurting right now. I'm smiling so much.
Oh my god, bro.
Oh my god.
No way.
Oh, I'm crying in the mask. Oh my god.
There's no way, yo.
Oh my god. That's why I know people are gonna say that in the comments too. Of like, we know what you look like. Why are you wearing a mask? You don't know what 2023 me looks like.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I grew a little facial hair. My hair is different. I've gotten sexier and more muscles. You know.
Yeah, and also that facial reconstruction surgery last year.
I didn't want to bring that up.
He's got horrific boils.
I'm speaking of facial reconstruction. You want to talk about the burn?
I think we gotta save that for. I think we're almost hitting 60 minutes on this, so we got to wrap
This
up.
has been so fun.
This is incredible. This is fucking incredible.
I love it. There's so many moments we can speak about.
But yeah, I felt like, but we gotta structure the podcast and like lay it out in a way. I want to just say, I grew up with siblings. I got 2 little siblings that I can reveal now. CJ, both CJ and D-Man are my brothers. We were all related. You know, this is gonna blow some people's minds, but so I had them to wrestle with, but they were not wrestling fans like me and AK were wrestling fans.
Right.
And then when my parents divorced, they went and moved in with her, my mom. I lived with my dad, so they weren't around as much. Mm-hmm. And then like my CJ, who's just a year younger than me, same age as you guys, just did not give a fuck about wrestling
at all.
So like we put the title on him and the renegade, but we'll get to him later too. Like I said, that'll be a whole storyline in itself.
Right.
But I got a camera for Christmas one year. I wanted to start filming myself back at wrestling because I got inspired by these guys called SVR or SNR wrestling.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
like Sean and Ross wrestling. They had ropes on their trampoline.
Yes, cool.
And it was really cool. And I got inspired and I was like, I want to do this.
Right.
And so I started filming myself. And then like had the first few matches. We pretended to be WWE superstars in the first 2 videos. Those went mini viral. I eventually upgraded cameras. I eventually upgraded to an editing software. But like I was obsessed with professional wrestling. I watched Monday Night Raw every week, SmackDown every week, and I wanted to do these videos as often as possible. Especially when I got a car and could like put some time in it, and I saw the views going up.
Right. Yeah.
Like we struck gold with Money in the Bank 2. Like I knew Royal Rumble 1 was gonna do well, and it did. And I knew Money in the Bank 1 was gonna do well, and it did. But Money in the Bank 2 is the video that like took us to the stratosphere. Of, like, hey, we need to do this every weekend. KBW TV becomes a thing.
Yep.
And then we started getting paid by YouTube.
Mr. O becomes a thing. That's another.
I never become a professional wrestler if KBW doesn't start getting paid. I don't ever even think of it as a avenue for me to go down. Like I didn't have the money. I knew my parents didn't have the money to send me to like a wrestling school. And so like when KBW started making money, it was like it changed my life. It changed the course of my life. I never make it to AEW without KBW, and I think that's cool as fuck.
Yes, bro. It's amazing. It just shows how hard work and dedication
And passion.
Passion. If you're like obsessed with something, because we did it just for the fun of it. We never expected it to get blow up or get big. But it
I
was
never
so
expected to
fun.
get paid. I never expected to hit 1 million views.
We just love doing it every week. I was like, bro, like I look forward to the weekends every time I was in like middle school, high school, like KBW days, because like, oh yeah, we get to wrestle. Like I was so into it. Like it didn't matter if it was like, 10,000, 20,000, 5,000 views, whatever we got. I was just so into it. It was just
Incredible.
It was incredible. Like the feeling I got every weekend, just coming in. What are we doing? Oh, we got this match set up. We got this storyline. Oh, I get to do this promo. I love, like, a lot of people know I love doing promos. One of my favorite things about wrestling is promos and just coming up with things to say and like just talking shit. It was amazing, and I never take it for granted. It was just such a special moment in my life.
And now I'm not going to take this for granted. Talking to you guys about this, I can't believe how much fun this has been.
I know.
Amazing.
To reminisce the KBW Rewind podcast. And like, we've been talking about even just doing a podcast in general. So like, the fact that we do the KBW podcast, if you guys like it, we'll branch out. We'll talk about more stuff. But we definitely want to talk about KBW every week to start it off.
For sure.
And I think this is a fucking phenomenal first episode.
Great first.
Oh, yeah. You want to say anything before we go? Like, what's your final thoughts and everything? What
And
the
then we talked
podcast
about,
KBW and
Oh
everything?
man, it's brought back so many memories. I'm just sitting here, you probably see the whole episode. I'm just smiling, and it's genuine smiles because I love being around you guys. I love bringing back the old memories and just reminiscing, and I'm just excited for the future. I'm excited for this podcast.
Yeah, this is, like I said, this is not just a one-off. We're going to do this, hopefully, do this every single week. Mostly KBW, but like you said, we go like maybe get into like some topics, like just someone's random topics or video games, wrestling, anything.
We'll see. We'll see where it goes. We'll see if we start a separate podcast to talk about stuff like that. But like, for those of you who are just tuning in, maybe watched KBW 10 years ago, don't know what we've all been doing. I'm a professional wrestler now. He's a professional wrestler now. He is not a professional wrestler.
I'm in business.
He's in business.
I work for our tribe.
But AK's got a Twitch channel.
Yes.
I have a Twitch channel and a YouTube channel, Fuego Del Sol YouTube channel. We both are on Twitch. Check us out our Twitch channels. Check out our wrestling matches if you know wherever you can find us at. And then
Where can they find you, Dozer? You got Twitter, Instagram? Let the people know.
People know. Hey, you can find me on Instagram at DustinW7275. Give me a follow. I don't
Jesus Christ, at DustinW7275.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, what can I say? That's
We'll put that in the description below if you can't remember that.
Again, guys, we don't know how this is going to turn out. The audio, we're going to try to be better. Like, this in-person audio is going to be different than what we do when we're on our headsets and desktops every week. Like, again, we're not going to be together every week, but we definitely want to do this podcast every week. And we'll work on any audio issues. We'll be editing in clips, hopefully, and pictures and all that. Please, if you like it, comment on it. Give us the thumbs up.
Give us some ideas.
Give us ideas. What do you want us to hear?
Yeah, like
Tell us what you want.
Yeah.
Anything you want to we're basically laying it all out there. So
and we're gonna reveal one KBW secret every week, right? I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, any KBW question you have, put it in comments below. Like anything you want to know, any like back scene, how this backstage, like anything, behind the scenes is what I meant to say. Behind the scenes stuff, anything like that, how the matches went and what matches you want to even like get deeper into. We can talk about anything. So
I'm super excited. Thank you guys for watching the KBW Rewind, KBW Forever podcast. Definitely like, comment, share, tell us what you thought. Can't wait to see you guys next week.
see ya.
Bye.